When I got arrested at 22 years old, I was very immature, reckless.
I'm finally in a position where I'm able to make a positive impact in my community.
The sky's the limit with this program.
Welcome to Prison to Purpose, Building Futures Behind Bars. I'm your host, Michelle Kane. We are in for a treat today. I hope this podcast leaves you feeling inspired and encouraged. We are talking with David Tucker, who is the CEO and founder of Emergency Safety Solutions. And David's backstory will just leave you in awe. You are going to be feeling, I keep saying it, encouraged from your story. Hi, David. Thank you so much for joining us on this podcast.
Hi, Michelle. Thanks for having me.
This is a story of not giving up on your loved ones who may be incarcerated or who may be going on that different path that's not on that straight path. Let's talk a little bit about you. You were incarcerated how many years ago?
It was, I got out 34 years ago, and it was 39 years ago that I got in trouble, I think.
39 years. So,
It's been a while.
Yeah. And how old were you back then?
I was 21 when I got in trouble. 21.
21. And can we talk about a little bit about what you did? Just a very high level.
Yeah, so I brandished a firearm and I shot some warning shots in the air to stop what was an altercation, trying to get our guys safe out of there. And it was not a smart move. There was a bullet ricocheted, and it killed somebody that I didn't know.
Yeah, so just tragic.
Yeah,
tragic, and 21 years old.
21 years old.
And here you're having the time of your life, and then all of a sudden, handcuffs, and explain what that looked like.
Well, I didn't know that what happened, and I found out from the news, and so I called the police and told them I was probably responsible and described what happened, and I drove to the station with my mom.
And how was your mom at that time? And
everybody was floored and shocked, including myself. It was unbelievable mistake that I made.
Yeah. Now, and you served your time.
I served my time, yeah.
And I can't even imagine how you were feeling during those moments. Can you describe your feelings?
Oh, it's undescribable when you get in trouble like that and you cause some other family that kind of pain. You think it's over. Yeah. You really do. You think it's over.
But in your case, it was not.
Pardon?
And in your case, it was not.
No, it was not. It was the start of a whole lifelong year of effort to try to fix what I could.
Yeah. And how was that? You were sentenced inside a California prison.
All right.
And then what was that transformation like?
Man, I was when I got in trouble, I was a fifth-year senior at UCSD as a double E major, and so it was. I still had a flat top. That's when flat tops.
Flat tops were cool.
Yeah, so
and you were smart too.
It's just a big shock for me to go from college campus to
prison campus.
To prison with a kid, and now you're going in a pretty dangerous environment, right? As a kid.
Yeah. And did you have to play the prison politics?
We got to be mindful of them, that's for sure. I mean, it's a predatory environment in there, to say the least, and it's really it's a dark place, especially when you get to a reception center, and they don't know who's who, so everybody's just in one big soup, and it's extremely dangerous in the reception centers.
Yeah. So you were able to figure your way out through that whole. I call it like the beginning stages of prison, and then you started going into programming, correct?
Yeah. So I remember I was in Chino reception, and it was a pretty rough place where I was being held, and waiting for classification, right? And I was struggling. I mean, I was in shock, right?
And and classification, to point out, they have a classification committee and they go through your record.
Right.
And I'm sure they looked at you and went, oh, wow, look at you. You just went from college to here prison. So,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they do the psychological evaluation. They do all this evaluating, and then you go in front of classification. I think what my turning point was when I was waiting, because it was like 3 months I was waiting to be classified, and there's lots of violence going on in the reception centers, of course. I got a letter from a friend, and in that letter it had a list of historic people that were previously incarcerated that later in their lives came out and made a meaningful change to society. And the letter gave me, it changed everything, because I was, you're naturally going to be really depressed when you mess up like that and you end up in prison. It's a shock.
You're thinking, where is my future?
You don't think you have one. You don't know if you're going to make it out of there alive. Was what I was thinking. And when I got this letter, and I mean, it had everybody from Gandhi to Martin Luther King to Martha Stewart. You think about it, Johnny Cash, Merle Haggard, all of them. They've all been to prison. I was like, and they still made something big happen with their life, and they changed things for the world. And that's what the message of the letter was. My friend sent me that. I said, you can still change. You can change things, and you can fix this. So I latched onto that. And then I started to, while you're getting classified, you're going to they're testing you educationally, everything, right? You're going, how they're doing a classification. They're testing.
Yes.
And I started asking questions, and I learned that they had a college university program at California Men's Colony. And so I immediately said, okay. So I started to figure out that there was actually programs in prison that I could latch onto and start to believe in a new future.
Yeah. There are a lot of great programs that people do not even know.
There really are.
Inside prison.
I got that letter. Once again, that letter, what it gave me was hope. And you start with hope, right? Once you get to hope, then you need to figure out, the process for learning what you can latch onto. And you basically got to come up with a new plan. That's the thing. You have to come up with a plan. And the education that you guys provide gives you a basis for that, right? So you can start formulating a plan. So my plan was get somehow to the California Men's Colony where the college program is.
And which you did.
Which I did,
And then
right?
you did that. And then let's fast forward. And then you ended up working in our dive program, correct?
Right. So I made the request to the classification committee. I believe this is how I did it. And they liked my plan. They stopped me right before I finished the college, 15 units. I stopped and pulled out, and I transferred to Chino to go to the dive school. And
how were the skills that you learned in that dive program? Let's talk about that dive program quickly.
Well, the dive school was everything to me. First, it was so challenging, and that's a big deal. To challenge yourself, right? It helps you break through barriers. Yeah. And
it kind of has that military background because they partnered with the Navy.
The Navy, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they give you that Navy SEALs training. It was really designed after the BUDS program, and it was so tough. I mean, the success rate of the graduates was pretty slim back then, and so you just took it as a challenge, and you worked real hard to learn it all and to get ready for reentry, because if you get accepted to that program, that means you are getting out. There's no lifers in that program.
Yeah.
Right. And so I was excited about getting out, and I was working for my plan. That basically the California Department of Corrections Education Department helped me figure out, right? Their tools were right there, and I just needed to take advantage of them.
And within that dive program, you were able to succeed even further in your career. And so we're going to take a quick break. We're going to get back into how the diving industry helped you propel you to being a CEO of a company. So stick around. We'll be right back.
If this episode moved you, hit follow and subscribe to the Prison to Purpose podcast. And remember, no matter where you started, you're always one choice away from a better future.
Welcome back. We are talking with David Tucker, who is the CEO of Emergency Safety Solutions. but also his backstory. And we're talking about how this prison program helped him in his career. And the prison program we're talking about is the commercial dive program, and that's in Chino. It's the California Institution for Men, operated by CalCitra. It's an amazing program, and through the many years, we partnered with the U.S. Navy, and it is a hard program to get into. I know that, but the success rate is unbelievable. These guys get out making six figures, working in the oil industry and also working out in the Gulf, out in the Pacific. They do great things. So let's talk about. So you get into the dive program. You're in prison, and how tough was it to get into that program? Because I know you have to do lots of like sit-ups, push-ups. It's military, right?
It's so tough that they tell you when they bring everybody down and transfer them to the prison, all the divers are in one dorm area, right? And West Low, which was in Chino, that's where the cells were that we were in. And we're all together, and we were trying to like start training in advance of when it started, and all the instructors are saying, you can't train for this. Don't even bother. Like, enjoy your time before it starts, because when it starts, all hell's going to break loose, and you're going to challenge yourself like you've never seen, and there's no way to prepare.
But you did it. So let's talk about that. How did you do it? I know you don't like to brag about yourself. You're a very humble man, I can tell. But let's do some bragging. Let's do some bragging.
Or just it's really a team-based program. I mean, you have all your classmates in there, and it's a Navy program, so they're teaching you leadership and how to work as a unit, and you pay in pain. That's what they say. You're going to pay in sweat and pain, and that's how you pay. And so everybody gets together, and then as you go through that, you get forged into a team, and you learn a lot of things about being and working with people and leadership and how you guys set goals for each other and all that, right?
Because you're risking your life. You're risking your life as a team, right? Because you're going underwater and you're learning all those tools, and you have to work as a team,
right?
Together, right? On the decks if you're going to be out in the Pacific or in the Gulf, correct? So really quick, how many push-ups did you do?
At the dive school?
Yeah.
4,014.
4,014. You
Yes,
set the
ma'am.
record?
I did.
Yeah. I did know that about you. That's why I'm bringing up the push-ups. You notice he didn't even mention that? I would have led with that. I would have been like, you know what? Back in my day, I did 4,000. How many push-ups can you do now?
I don't know, but I know I can't do that.
That was great. But that program does teach you grit. It does teach you grit. The program now is operated, it's by CalCitra, but what I love about that program now, we have two formerly incarcerated individuals who went through that program way back when. One individual decades ago, he paroled in 2008, and he is now leading that program.
Wow.
So I know. I bet you didn't even know that.
I did not know that.
So that program just keeps on giving, and it keeps on giving. And the men that come out of that program, they are very successful, very successful.
I tell my friends in the industry that, they'll ask you, what's your top three things you've ever done in your life? It's consistently one of those top three.
It's your top three.
That fun for
Well,
me.
it better be you married your wife, you had your children, and then that, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Because they're watching us here in the studio. So I'm like, right? Am I right? Okay.
Right.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Uh-huh.
You're definitely right.
Okay. Yeah. All right. But no, that's it. It's great. It's great. So let's talk about, okay, you go through the dive program. You're successful. At least you knew how to swim. There's some guys that come into that program that don't know how to swim.
There are. We had a couple in our class, and they learned. And I was, it's impressive to watch a guy, because you're doing it in a real live situation, and you're in pain. You're always in pain until the third month of the program. Like, you're pain and sweat every day.
Let's point this out. You keep saying pain. No one is beating anybody here.
No, it's just
you're just in
physical
pain.
fitness,
It's physical fitness.
Yeah.
You know how when you work out at the gym and the next day you're a little sore? That's the pain he's talking about.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure
it's not.
we say that because, I just don't want the phone calls, okay?
It's the physical fitness to
It's the physical fitness
Yeah.
part of it. It's
Yeah.
challenging yourself and challenging your body, right?
Yeah.
It's just an amazing program.
I get out, yeah.
And what year was this?
19, the end of 91 when I got out, I still had 15 units to get my bachelor's degree in business from Chapman University, which was the university that was doing the Pell Grant program
Okay.
in CMC East. And so I paroled to the campus of Chapman down in Orange County, which is a really nice private school. So I talk about reverse shock. Now I went from
Prison back to college.
back to college campus, and I knocked out the 15 units. And then
Good for you.
And then I decided that I was going to combine the business with the diving, and I drove out to Louisiana. And I'm going to try to get a job here in California, but I just couldn't seem to get past the background checks. Once I got the background checks, I would do well in the interviewing process, but then the background checks they'd ghost me after they did that.
And
right?
that is getting better, I've noticed, all across the nation now, and especially in California now. But back in the 90s, yeah. So you went to Louisiana.
I went to
You
Louisiana.
packed up. Did you have to pack up your car? What did you do?
Packed up my 1973 Toyota Land Cruiser Jeep. barely drive. I had no money, and I packed it up. I drove across the country. I didn't have any interviews set up. I just was researching who the diving companies were, and I got there and I just started making phone calls.
And you were persistent.
It was unbelievable because in California back at the time the climate was, it was too risky to hire an ex-con regardless because you didn't, there were others you could hire that weren't ex-cons. And so, but when I got to Louisiana, one of the questions I interviewed with two companies the first day. One of them was called Cal Dive International. The other one was J. Ray McDermott, both big diving companies. And they both asked me a question. They said, "Why do you want to be a diver when you have a college degree?" And I told them I'm having a hard time getting a job with the background, right? And they said, "Well, we don't care about that. All we care about is what you do tomorrow. We don't care what you did yesterday." So it's all
that's
about
wonderful.
performance. And so they gave me the shot, and they both offered me a job. Now it was $7 an hour as a diver's tender, but you got to start at the bottom. That's the way diving is.
Yeah.
And so I took the bigger company, J. Ray McDermott, and I started right there.
And then your career just took off.
It exploded.
It exploded.
Yeah.
We're going to take another short break. We're going to get back into, I want to hear how your career exploded, where you are at now. I know the backstory, but I think our listeners and viewers would just love to hear it. So, David, stick around. We'll be right back.
This episode of Prison to Purpose, Building Futures Behind Bars proves that no one is defined by their worst mistake. Every day, incarcerated men and women are rebuilding their lives through job training, mentorship, and second chances. This podcast exists to amplify those voices, stories of true grit and purpose.
Welcome back to Prison to Purpose. We're talking with David Tucker, CEO of ESS, Emergency Safety Solutions. And we've been talking a lot about your backstory. You are out now. You are now out of prison and back in on the college campus. And then you ended up going across country to Louisiana to get that first job. And you got your first job. So now you're in the industry. And let's go from there.
Well, it's important to, I guess, to acknowledge that, the Chino Dive School has a really good reputation in the diving industry worldwide. And because of that, there was a lot of interest in this new Chino diver. That's what they call us, Chino divers. There was a lot of interest in the new Chino diver. And so I got a lot of attention. And the good thing about that was that they gave me opportunities to prove myself pretty quickly, right? And they knew I had a college degree. So I got the opportunity to shine where I could, and it just opened all the doors up. Everybody knew I was an ex-con because you have to be an ex-con to be a Chino diver, right? So I didn't have to hide from that, and that made it more comfortable for me, just to keep going. And then some divers got out and they called me and they wanted jobs. So and then we started hiring more,
Yeah.
and it became a thing, and I just got the opportunity to keep advancing.
Yeah,
is what it
word
did.
of mouth, word of mouth. And where did you advance to? So you started here. Where did you go? And
I started
what was your
working for the
career?
the construction company, right, who has a diving division. And then I ended up getting hired by a subcontractor that did the submarines. So the remotely operated vehicles were becoming a big part of the scope of work offshore. And so they offered me a job, and I had 2 kids, and I was a single dad, and I was like, unfortunately, I got divorced, and so I needed to not go offshore so much. And diving was a big offshore, you're away from home thing. So I switched to a contractor, and I started doing sales for them, and then my career really ignited. I ended up at Halliburton, a number of years later, and on a pretty nice trajectory.
Wow. And now you are CEO. Explain your company. Let's talk about your company really
So
quick.
Emergency Safety Solutions is a safety-based company that is revolutionizing through new technologies the hazard light system in our vehicles, commercial and passenger vehicles. So the hazard light system's from 1951. It's really dated technology, and like 4 people die a day over it on the side of the road. We see it all the time. People changing a flat tire get killed while they're on the side of the road. And so our technology is we've revolutionized the hazard light system, so it has new features that protect you while you're in need.
And this company has taken off.
It's taken off big, yeah.
Yeah. And how great is that? You are saving lives.
Well, that's the point of it. I was retired when I got the idea to start the company. I realized that there was a safety problem, and I thought to myself, well, if I'm truly sorry for what I did, then I think I'm compelled to try to go save lives now. I accidentally took one. I was responsible for one, and I want to go even the score and help many. So I had no choice in the matter. I had the idea. I knew it was a good idea. And so I'm making it happen with a really good team behind me.
What a blessing. Wow. All right. So now you are CEO. You have a wonderful job. Your kids. Let's talk about your life now. What is David's life like now?
So I've got 2 kids. One's 39 and one's 33. They're doing great.
Congratulations.
Thank you. One of them works for us. The other one works for Salesforce, and they're both 2 outstanding kids. My daughter's got two children, so I'm a grandfather. I just recently got married about 2.5 years ago, so I got me a beautiful wife, and I couldn't be happier. I mean,
life is good.
Life is good.
Life is good. And let's share just some David wisdom to maybe the folks that are incarcerated, or maybe loved ones who are listening to this, who may know somebody who's incarcerated. Any words of wisdom?
Yeah, so if you're unfortunate enough to end up in prison, it's important to realize that there is hope, right? And like I mentioned about the letter that somebody sent me, and it inspired me and it gave me hope. And you get hope, and then you have to understand accountability. You have to understand that there's a new perspective you have to have in prison. The guys that are there that keep going back and forth, they have another philosophy, and that is that you're never going to be respected again in society. So you're an outlaw, and you might as well just live the outlaw life. That's why people keep going in and out. You have to shun that perspective and start your own. And you have to believe. What it does, you get hope. You see the programs that are there, and then you have to just believe in yourself and what the programs are going to empower you to go do. And then you just have to stay true to the plan. You got to have the discipline to just stay dedicated to the plan, and don't get into a mindset like like I was telling you, where guys think you're an outlaw. You're not an outlaw. You can contribute, and you have to believe in that. David, it's just been a pleasure talking with you. I love your story. I love that you are so humble. I mean, you can just find David, ESS, but once I read your backstory, I'm blown away. And you contacted us and heard about this podcast, and I'm so grateful that you flew in all the way from Texas, to Florida. Yeah.
Wow. and for this podcast.
Well, the pleasure was all mine. Thank you.
And we just
having
love
me.
hearing about these success stories. I mean, you've been out now 30, how many years? I should know this number.
34.
34
Yeah.
years. 34 years. And look at you. So
Well, I'm really grateful
congratulations,
to you
Grandpa.
guys.
Congratulations, Grandpa. There you are, you know?
Thank
Isn't
you.
it wonderful? Grandparent life, amazing. So anyhow, just a pleasure having you on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate
Thank you.
it.
And thank you again for tuning in to Prison to Purpose, Building Futures Behind Bars. Please like us, subscribe to us, follow us, share us, do whatever it takes, get that word out. And I always love to leave you with this line: hope does not stop behind the gate. Hope does not stop behind the gate. That is so fitting for this podcast.
It is.
Take care.
Thank you for listening to the Prison to Purpose podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to hit follow, subscribe, and stay connected with us for more real stories, real growth, and real transformation. Share this episode with someone who needs a little strength today. We'll see you next time.